There is your man who's on pole position, Kevin Koyas, who set a blistering pace in qualifying this morning to take pole on a 1:46.360. He will start from his first GP3 Series pole. Alongside him on the front row, Jack Harvey in the same position that Sam Bird started the GP2 race a little while ago, and Julie took the win, and wouldn't the British fans like to see 2 British wins in a row. Regalia starts third, alongside him Fontana, great qualifying from him. Then Carlos Sainz and Tio Elinas, Kvyat and Yeloli, Connor Daly down in 9th and Niederhauser 10th. Then it's Aro Vaino 11th and Adelie Fong in 12th. Giovanni Venturini 13th and Vizoyu, who won in Valencia, 14th. Then Kuyala and Zamparelli, who got a bit of traffic. Fuminelli and McKee. Williamson out of position in 19th. Silva 20th. Josh Webster 21st. Eric Lichtenstein 22nd. Then Jimmy Eriksson, Enrico Zonzini. And at the back of the field, Samuel Gomez, Ryan Cullen and Carmen Yorda. And it was an interesting qualifying session this morning, Alex. I know you've been around the GP3 paddock, spoken to a few of the boys, and Koyas may have shot his bolt when it comes to tyres.
Yeah, definitely. The Arden boys, Harvey and Regalia, relying on the fact that that Koyas has used all 3 of his available sets of Super Hard, the new Super Hard compound tyre, to deliver his pole position time. I mean, they're hoping based on that, but obviously they're not certain. Both of the ART boys behind him have used only 2 sets of those tyres, leaving availability of a further set of tyres for the race. So it's going to be really interesting down on the grid to see if anybody is parked up with a new set of boots to use in this first race.
Absolutely, that will be. Or if they'll save that fresh set of boots for tomorrow's race in the morning. Obviously starting very early here at Silverstone, the GP3 race kicking everything off before GP2, and then Formula 1. This race today really creating the end of the day at Silverstone, and what a day it's been. Lewis Hamilton on pole, Sam Bird taking a win. The British fans have had a lot to cheer here at Silverstone, and they have hung around in numbers to watch this GP3 race. It's going to be very interesting, I think, to see obviously how Harvey does today, but also I'm very interested in the MW Arden guys. They've had a hideous first race, absolutely dreadful in Barcelona, just chewed through their tyres. Seemed to get on top of it a little bit more in Valencia, but this track, very different proposition to Valencia, so it'll be fascinating to see how they manage their tyres.
I think they definitely move forward with the change to the tyres that we saw for the Valencia race, but of course every different track wears the tyres, uses the tyres, loads the tyres in a different way. So the wear that they suffered in Valencia, although improved, maybe a different kind of wear to the wear they see today. For example, in Valencia, a lot of traction zones, a lot of rear tyre degradation, thermal degradation, whereas here at Silverstone there's big load, there's high-speed corners, and there's front a real big load on the front tyres, the high-speed in the high-speed corners. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays with the Arden Cup.
It looks like Regalia's got fresh boots on. Certainly, of the drivers that we've seen on the grid, haven't really seen many other cars close up, but if ART are running fresh tyres on him, you've got to think maybe on their other cars as well.
Yeah, generally from my short experience of running with ART, they like to keep the strategies very consistent across their cars. You tend to go out at the same time, run at the same time, so their data is very consistent. They always have a consistent scientific base to work from, so it's reasonable to assume that they would do the same with their strategy on race weekend, barring anything interesting going on.
Well, we hope there'll be lots of interesting things going on here today. I'm sure there will. The GP2 race was an absolute thriller. The tyres were changed for harder compounds here in GP3 after not exactly the most scintillating race in Barcelona, and hopefully that will allow these guys to push for the duration of the contest today as the drivers scream off from the line. Alex, give us a little talk around this track. You're coming up into Abbey, that very tricky right-hander.
Well, certainly the first corner is a massive challenge for the drivers. Can be flat out in dry conditions with a helpful wind, but I would have thought these guys are going to be having to manage their cars through there, and then definitely flat out through the next left into this new arena section. Well, barely new anymore. It's been around a little while now. The slow right-hander and then even slower left-hander heading out through a kink at far onto the Wellington Straight. Yeah, these guys pulling almost to top speed. I think the top speed round this circuit is down the Hanger Straight, but still an equivalent top speed down the Wellington Straight into another stadium section at Brooklands and Luffield.
And this, I always love this part of the track. This is where I first saw Formula One cars as a kid, watching them come through Luffield and Brooklands. I still remember the first time a car screamed past me back in '95. It just chills still, and I just remember standing on those banks. It's such a great place to watch cars.
Yeah, and a fantastic challenge as a driver. The braking finesse that's required to get a car into Brooklands absolutely on the limit, braking and turning at the same time, of course, and again into Luffield, managing the car under braking is a real challenge for these guys, especially when locking up with these Pirelli tyres is such a penalty. And if you lock a tyre up once, then that tyre's going to lock for you all day long and going to create a big problem for you come the end of the race.
Cops, massive challenge for the drivers, and of course exit so critical to getting it right into Maggots and Beckett's.
And one of the most iconic pieces of racetrack in the world. As we both know, needs no introduction from me. The Maggots-Beckett section is going to be challenging these drivers all day long, and on the first lap of a race here, to get that section right on cold tyres, cold brakes, and deliver a good exit out onto Hanger Straight is so important for these guys, because the drag down Hanger Straight is a massive overtaking opportunity in the early laps down into Stowe.
And of course, as we've seen already today in GP2, Stowe not the only overtaking opportunity. Many drivers choosing to still sit in the slipstream through Stowe and take it to drivers up the inside of Club. Club, of course, it's widely thought that the left-hander is called Vale. It's not. It's actually the straight between Stowe and Club corner that is Vale. Club is in fact a three-part corner, a left and a double right-hander is Club. Blame Ian Titchmarsh for that little piece of information. He's very good on his corners here at Silverstone. And breaking down here into the left-hander, a great overtaking point. You've got to get it right through then the next two right-handers onto the start-finish straight. Set yourself up on another lap. As Kvyat comes around and Koyas brings the field through the final corners at Club. We ride on board with Dino Zamparelli with that very distinctive liveried helmet, the Italian flag and the two Union flags on either side. And he will bring his car around, and as they line up on the grid, the top 20 will see Silva 20th, 19th Williamson, McKee and Fuminelli, Zamparelli 16th, 15th Kuyala, 14th Vijoyu, Venturini 13th, Fong is 12th, Vigno is 11th, and the top 10. Patrick Niederhauser starts in 10th place, 9th will be Connor Daly, 8th Nick Yeloli, 7th Daniel Kvyat. 6th, Tio Elinas, 5th Carlos Sainz, and the top 4, Fontana 4th. 3rd is Regalia, and on the front row of the grid it is Jack Harvey on the left-hand side of your screen in the ART. On the right-hand side, in his first pole position, it's Kevin Koyas. We wait for the lights now to shine above the track. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and here at Silverstone for GP3 we're racing, and a big old jump start it looks like from Connor Daly, who's already up and around the outside of Kevin Koyas into turn 1. Daly goes into second place. Will he run wide? No, he won't, but it's Jack Harvey who takes the lead of the race immediately from the off, and it looked like a tremendous jump from Connor Daly. Either that or he's got lightning reactions, but it's an ART 1-2 coming through as one of the Ardens runs wide. I think that signs a couple of boys bumping wide. Now coming through onto the Wellington Straight, it's Jack Harvey who leads from Connor Daly. As we ride on board with Nick Yeloli, and ahead the guys going wheel to wheel with Tio Elinas, having a look to make up places immediately in the opening part of the race. Yeloli keeping it stuck in, as running wide is is Fontana, and Fontana trying to keep position and stop Tio Elinas from getting around him, and Yeloli doing a wonderful job just keeping a watchful eye on it as Elinas gets very wide down the old start-finish straight.
Yeah, and Fontana did a fantastic job there, and continues to do a fantastic job to hold on to that position, given the mistake he made early doors to hang on around the outside of Brooklands and challenge again into Luffield. Yeah, really did well hanging on to that place.
Now, as I don't know, it's Regalia, I thought it was Daly had lost a position, so it's an ART 1-2-4 at the moment. Can't wait to see a start replay though, as quite a few drivers taking quite a bit of curve there and kicking up some dust.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you say, either a jump or a really fantastic reaction from Connor Daly. Either that, or the first 6 or 7 guys just didn't get off the line that well, and he did.
Going to be fascinating to see how that one pans out as the battle rages between Williamson and McKee, the teammates in the bamboo car. Elinas defending from Yellow-Lee, who is P8. It's exactly where he started. Elinas has lost a position at the start of the race here. And down the start-finish straight at the end of lap 1, it's Harvey from Daly, from Koyas, Regalia's 4th, Kvyat's 5th, Fontana 6th, Elinas 7th, and 8th is Nick Yellow-Lee.
And I would say Harvey's done very well on this opening lap to pull the gap that he had around.
Contact, sorry mate, contact between the Marussia car back there, and looks like a little bit of debris then down on the track now as well, as the guys are defending against each other. But as you say, a great first lap from Jack Harvey. Sorry,
yeah, absolutely. I think it might have been Zamparelli that got contact perhaps with McKee in the first corner there.
So down the Wellington straight, and again the bamboo car's going wheel to wheel, and Arovino would appear to be having a look, or is it Kuyala? Indeed, no, it is Vigno, and the battle with Lewis Williamson. Vigno tucked up underneath the rear wing of Lewis Williamson, who knows what it takes to win here at Silverstone. He won for MW Arden back in the day, in the early years of the GP3 championship, but he's got a mammoth task ahead of him if he's even to get close to the podium. As Kuyala and Fulminelli do battle, and that is over 16th position. But I think it's normally around this time that we get start replays rolling. Now let's have a look. Where's Daly? He's on the left. He just got a lightning start.
You know what? That was just a lightning start. What a start from Connor Daly. Brilliant.
Charlie's had a look and said Connor's jumped it.
Well, a point and a nod. Oh. I'm not sure it means jumped it. Either that's a brilliant start or...
Yeah, either Charlie going, tell you what, that's a bit good.
Start a race car.
Wow, if that is not a jump start, I'm sorry for saying that I thought it was. It was just so good. It was just so good. And let's have a look here. What happens? So running wide, the Arden boys. Kuyala runs off as well, as does Vishoyu.
And those guys that have gone wide in the first turn, yeah, now have to rejoin like that into the middle of the pack, and that is a hair-raising moment for anybody rejoining into turn 2. Or a little bit of contact in the middle of the field there on the outside of turn 3.
Now here's the bit of contact that we saw, and it was Jimmy Eriksson and Ryan Cullen.
Yeah, a little bit of damage to the front of I think it was Eriksson's car there.
Yeah. So Daly, I mean, it did look... It looked good. We haven't got a message through from race control saying that, oh, incident involving car 1 under investigation, jump start. There you go.
Well, they, of course, will know better than us just from watching, because they have magnetic strips underneath the grid position. So if he did jump the start, then it will be immediately obvious in race control, more so than to any of us watching on the TV.
Absolutely. Fulminelli under investigation for a jump start, as well as his car number 21, which is McKee.
As Harvey continues to impress at the front of the field, delivering a great middle sector there, moving 2.7 ahead of the field currently.
So Daly still sits second under investigation for that jump start. Koyas, our pole sitter, down to third. Regalia sits fourth, and Kvyat fifth. Fontana sixth, Elinas seventh, and Tio will be only too happy if Connor Daly does get a penalty here. And of course they are stop-go penalties in Silverstone rather than drive-throughs, because of the length of the pit lane, because just taking a drive-through isn't really considered to be that much of a penalty.
Now, as the race continues to kind of settle down, it's going to be really interesting to see, with this new compounder tyre available to the guys, who is now going to start managing their tyres and take a gamble on the fact that everybody else is going to lose grip by the end of the race, and who is going to push through, taking a gamble on the fact that the tyres are not going to go away. Now, some of the guys will have managed to get laps in free practice to verify that, but others will have, to maximise their qualifying performance, just run on the medium tyre they carried over for Valencia, so we'll have no data at all.
And of course, the weather conditions during practice. Oh, as Williamson does make that move, and he makes it stick on the trident of Giovanni Venturini. So Williamson now up and into 10th place, into the points. But as I said, practice was run, in very different conditions to today. So much of what they've learned, so different to the conditions they're running in now.
Well, given the pace of Harvey and Daly at the front, we're actually going to see a very good, a very interesting comparison of potentially two strategies. Harvey pounding away at the front, and Daly maybe holding back just a little bit.
As the Zino Zamparelli, and Conor Daly does get that penalty for a jump start. Gutting for him. It looked to us for all the world like it had just been a phenomenal start, but must have been by milliseconds that he got that. So bit of disappointment for Conor Daly. Will take him out of second place, but it will promote Koyas to second. A jump start also for McKee, and one would imagine also as well for Fuminelli. Indeed he does. So all three under investigation, all three handed that drive through. They'll have 3 laps to take that. So Harvey will lead from Koyas, our pole sitter. Regalia will move up to 3rd. Kvyat will move up to 4th. And so here is a replay of Zamparelli and Melville McKee.
Yeah, and Zamparelli, very, very brave move there on the way into Maggots. It's actually slightly counterintuitive there. The right-hand side is the place to be, although the first turn is a left-hander. The biggest radius turn is a right, so the place to be is on the right-hand side, and that's the defensive line, and that's where he managed to put himself there to take the place.
Great stuff then from him. Elinas currently less than a second behind Kvyat, but the man coming under big pressure now is Carlos Sainz in 9th place from Lewis Williamson, and we saw him already starting to leave some black marks down behind the car. And
yeah, and you can already see the rear of that car starting to move around for him. It's something we saw from him a little bit in qualifying, having a big lock-up and a spin down into club corner, and also moving the car a lot in the high speed. Perhaps that car a little bit aggressive on the rear for him.
Under investigation, Cullen and Ericsson for that move down on the start-finish straight. But Carlos Sainz is the car too loose for him? Are the tyres starting to play out already for him? The MW Arden team was so miserable with the tyres in Barcelona, and if it's already kicking in after 4 laps, that would be something.
Well, this is something that I said again about them.
Oh my word! That is a big incident here at Silverstone. I think that's Kujala in the Koiranen car. And he's gone up and over and is upside down. That is Fuminelli, I think. So that was a big one. They were fighting over 16th place. And
looks like in Beckett's to me.
Goodness, and that is a high-speed place for an accident to occur. As we pick up the safety car and the medical car is released out on track. Medical car driven by Alan van der Merwe, so there's not many people faster to actually get to the scene of an accident. British Formula 3 champion, of course. So that is Kujala upside down. And Marshall's going to work. There's a thumbs up. There's a thumbs up from the Marshall on the ground talking to Patrick in the car. And they will wait, no doubt, unless Patrick can release himself until the medical car arrives. And Fuminelli is out and he's okay. So that's good to see. But that looked like a pretty scary moment. I think we're going to get a replay of it any second, mate.
Yeah, so here we are coming through. Yeah, the last part of Beckett. Oh, and he's just misjudged from behind the speed of Fuminelli as he comes through the right-hander of Beckett's, and then they've tangled. And such is the way they've tangled that actually the forward rotation of Fuminelli's rear tyres has fired Kujala into the air. Reminiscent slightly of Conor Daly's shunt, actually,
very much
last
so.
year in Monaco. But yeah, as you see, the rear tyre catches the underfloor of the car and will ping him over the rear of Fuminelli, and that's the nature of open wheel racing, I'm afraid. But all we can hope is that both drivers are okay.
Fuminelli is out of the car, and at this point, that is an incredible replay. He's already taken his hands off the wheel.
Yeah.
What an great camera work.
Wow. And somebody's told him how to crash properly, because that position, that brace position, is very protective. So always the way to do it is take your hands away from the wheel, make sure you've got them close to your body, and hang on. Don't try and right the car with your arms. I know that sounds crazy, but it can be a reflex to pop your arms out the car, try and right it. So.
Oh my word! Oh my word! Scary moment then here at Silverstone. But we wait for the car to be righted, and we wait for Patrick to be extricated from the car. The Trident boys watch on. Fuminelli obviously is okay, but
so meanwhile, back with the race, then anybody who was saving their tyres has been donated any of the gap that they lost back to the leader now. So it's going to be interesting to see how the strategies play out. Again, pushing hard early doors, and this is one of the risks you take. And
of course, the one person that this really doesn't play out for at all is Conor Daly or any of the other guys who had to take their drive-through, because now you have to take your drive-through penalty. They will fall all the way to the back of the field, whereas if they'd taken it immediately, yes, they would have lost position, but not so many, and then with the field bunching up, they would have been able to have caught that gap back and made some moves. So yeah, the guys with drive-throughs losing out massively through the safety car.
Yeah, so Conor Daly still yet to take that, so he's gonna head straight to all the way to the back of the pack. Real shame for him.
Riding on board with Bernd Mailander, Marco Cadello sitting alongside him in the safety car. Marco in constant communication with race control, and will be told when Bernd can bring the car in. So resetting. Harvey leads. Daly is second, but needs to take a drive-through penalty. Koyas is third, but will move up to second. Regalia is fourth, but will be third. Then Kvyat, Elinas, Fontana, Yeloli, Sainz, and Williamson are the top 10. As the safety car is out, will be just joining us for a big moment between Kujala and Fuminelli.
I would suggest it's going to be quite an interesting battle on also for the reverse grid pole, given the fact that Sainz may have a chance now to just take stock, cool those tyres down a little bit. We were struggling with a little bit of oversteer before, and maybe take it to Yeloli in the second half of this race.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there is Kujala out of the car. Great to see, great news. And the boys all seeing if he's okay. And the doc having a word, just checking that he's all right. And so we can have another look at the replay now. As you say, just too much pace, and then launched. Voila. Whoa, my word.
It was almost like the initial contact unsettled him enough to be dealing with the car, and then not able to react again to the car in front of him for a second time, which then caught him out in a slightly bigger way.
This is really incredible to watch the mechanics of an accident of this sort, at this slowed down frame rate. Fantastic camera work to have caught this, and really to see, as you say, that sort of the physics of how an accident like that occurs.
Yeah, it's a very strange accident. It's usually when you see an accident as a driver, you can imagine having that accident yourself. You can see how that accident might have occurred. Yes, it's a point where cars slow down, they concertina, but you're carrying big speed through there. It's not somewhere where you'd anticipate running into the back of the competitor in front. So either Fuminelli has slowed down a lot more than Kujala is expecting, or he's just been caught out.
Well, good to see both boys out of the car, and that is always the most important thing in accidents like this, that the guys are okay. The GP3 car is a sturdy little number. It's been involved in some big accidents over the last 3 and a bit years. But once again, the guys at Dallara done an outstanding job creating what is a very safe but fast racing car. And Kujala and Fuminelli both out of the car. So we're still under safety car here at Silverstone as the laps count down. And I think I'm right in saying that under safety car, the number of laps for which you have to take a drive-through are kind of suspended. So it's 3 actual racing laps that you have to bring it in, because Daly hasn't come in.
Yeah, well, I would suggest that for Daly, because he should be well in the pits by now. So obviously they're.
I'm pretty sure.
In fact, I recall a situation that happened with me last year where you're actually not allowed to pit for your
under safety car.
For your penalty under safety car.
There we go. There we go. See, I knew you'd know.
I did in the end. I had to do a bit of mind searching.
So big clean-up operation will be needed down there, but it's going to be quite a long safety car period here, I'm sure. But great first few laps from Jack Harvey. I think we need to talk about that again. He really had the measure of the field over those first few laps. Having Connor in the mix clearly didn't harm him either. Having a good rear gunner, but Daly, you know, Daly wasn't exactly being pushed by Corliss in the opening laps. But it was a brilliant start from Jack Harvey. And he did exactly what he needed to do over those opening laps, pulling out that gap, just stretching his legs little by little. But now, obviously, behind the safety car, race neutralised.
So we're now at a stage, I would suggest, where these guys are going to be able to afford to push hard until the end of the race. So any thought of tyre preservation is very much out of the window now.
Thank goodness for that.
Thank goodness for that. Yeah.
Well, if the race gets restarted, because with 7 laps to run here at Silverstone, there's no guarantee that that will happen. Obviously, car needs to be got rid of from that point. All of the ambulances and medical cars need to leave the scene. Everybody needs to make sure that that part of the track is safe for the race to continue.
I think we also need to consider the availability of time. 12 minutes 4 seconds now remain for this race to be completed.
Good shout, sir. Good shout. And running 2 minute 38 second laps behind the safety car means that that ain't going to happen.
No, so I would suggest that perhaps this one may go to time with 11 minutes 40 about remaining.
Put our feet up. Corliss is going to be a bit gutted, isn't he, from that pole?
Yeah, he really didn't get off the line well, did he? Sometimes the pressure of the moment, sometimes it just doesn't work out for you. What you've got to remember as well is that not only do racetracks change over time in terms of driving them, but they change over time in terms of the availability of grip on the start-finish straight and box per box. Who's been in your box before you? How good a start have they got? And all of that is just a fudge factor. You know, you put your finger in the air and you guess as a driver, given the practice start that you did before you did the real start. So all of these guys, it's guesswork the whole time for sure, and there's a feel which comes into being a racing driver that is only experience and is only talent and knowledge.
You've got to take your hat off to Jack for his start as well, when you consider he was on the dirty side of the track. We've had Formula 1 qualifying today and a practice session. We've had a GP2 race kicking off a lot of clag off the racing line as well. A great job, really, to get that off.
Yeah, I mean, they do a great job here at Silverstone, particularly of clearing the track of the marbles. But I recall starts, particularly the first race of last year in Barcelona, where I had to pull slugs of rubber off my helmet. Such was the density of marbles off the racing line. Yeah, so to pull a start off like that on a dirty side, and it is a big delta here. Nothing runs down the dirty side of the track at any point. So it's even often to overtake, because Abbey's not really a big overtaking place, such a fast corner. So it's so it's a great start he's pulled off there.
So
not quite as good as Connor Daly's, but
well, yeah, but that was illegal. So
yeah,
we can't count that. We can't count that. It was a great start though. It was mega. It was mega. Reminds me of the start last year with Da Costa and Abt in Barcelona. And I'm sitting there in commentary going, "Oh, great start, amazing! I've never seen a start like it." And yeah, drive through. Got that one kind of wrong.
So cars being removed from the racetrack then, considering how long we're going to take to get back underway, I think it's going to be largely based on whether any barrier repair has to be done. If there's any barrier repair required, I don't foresee any, to be honest, because he didn't actually hit it that hard. But cars removed from the racetrack is usually the last thing I would suggest. And as a driver, when you see cars removed from the racetrack, you think, okay, going green soon. So let's hope. Fingers crossed.
As we see the drivers certainly starting to be a little more aggressive on the warm-up, starting to work the tyres a little bit more, starting to work the brakes with the progressive long braking, trying to get heat into those tyres.
Clear in track sector 11. Yeah. So
there we go. There we go. Be great to get this race back underway. Jack Harvey won't be too keen for it to happen. He's, I think, probably rather enjoying leading this thing and not having to worry about it. And for at least another lap, he'll have the buffer of Connor Daly in second. Will Connor play the team game on the restart? Will he just try and back it off through some of the corners? I doubt it. I doubt it very much.
I doubt it as well. These guys, you know, they're driving for whatever team they're driving for, but you know they're fighting for their own dominance and their own performance. They don't have too much loyalty to hold to each other particularly.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because when you make it to the pinnacles of motor racing, playing the team game is so important, and yet at this level it's every man for himself or woman.
Yeah, of course. It's an interesting balance to strike, but I think through the lower formulas it trends towards the driver's ambition.
Indeed, as Harvey winds them up and already has got a great jump on Connor Daly, and Daly jumps into the pits, and look at that, Harvey, perfect restart, absolutely mega, and he'll have, what, 2 and a bit seconds maybe over the line for Jack Harvey on the restart, brings it down the start-finish straight, and look at that, across the line, Corlius 1.9 seconds back.
Man, Corlius missed out on a trick there, didn't he? A little bit asleep. Harvey is off down the road. Great restart from him. Also, Daly coming into the pits could have caught Corlius out just a little bit, but yeah.
Absolutely brilliant stuff then from Jack Harvey on the restart. Really started winding it up, coming through Stowe, and caught everyone else napping a little bit. But now the race is on. 5 laps remain here at Silverstone. Jack Harvey leads from pole. Sitter Corlius. Regalia is third. Kvyat is fourth. Then Elinas, Fontana and Yellowly.
My goodness me, look at that for a gap for a restart. And even Corlius to Regalia is a reasonable chunk as well. So yeah, he's going to be really happy with how that went for him.
Yellowly having a look at the back of Fontana, who himself is having a look at Elinas. And Elinas's car, it doesn't appear as bolted as everybody else. He's sliding around all over the place.
Yeah, and I found it really interesting, even in a GP3, even in a GP2 race, how long tyres were taking to get up to temperature. And I think we're seeing that a little bit here. These guys,
and Elinas has run wide.
Yeah, these guys really struggling to bring their tyres up to where they need them to be, particularly Elinas, yeah.
And this is the thing with the harder compound tyre, the guys have got to get used to working it, got to get used to getting the temperature, and Elinas so far seems to be struggling more than his rivals, particularly on this restart lap. 3/4 of the way around the circuit was where the tyre started to bed in GP2, certainly down the hanger straight. But Elinas so far not looking all that troubled from Fontana.
And this is where the guys who were struggling with tyre wear, conversely, before the safety car, are now going to come into their own. If they've got a more aggressive car that's going to switch the tyres on, they're going to have a chance to push to the guy ahead. They've got to do it quickly, though.
Have a look at Lewis Williamson. Started 19th, is currently in 10th place. Having a look at Carlos Sainz. He's already in a points-paying position, but will want more, and will want that 8th place reverse grid pole. It's oh so important. And it's one that everybody in those positions wants to fight for. If you can't get the win, reverse grid pole will do very nicely indeed. Regalia's looking pretty tidy at the moment as well. 1.4 seconds back from Corlius, who's lost another 3/10 to Harvey over the course of that lap.
Yeah, Harvey being really, really neat and tidy right now. He seems to have things very much under control. And yeah, he's just moving that gap steadily forward. Gorgeous just a little bit quicker in the first sector though this time. I doubt Harvey's going to be worrying about that too much with 4 laps to go, but maybe he can take something to him in the very final part of this race.
That would be great. That would be great. Top 4 drivers all within the 149s. The next bunch in the 150s. But it is currently Harvey from Corlius, and look at Williamson taking the fight to Carlos Sainz in the bamboo car, taking on the MWR, into Maggots and Beckett's. There is Sainz in the blue car with the yellow nose. Behind him in the white, blue and silver is Lewis Williamson.
Yeah, and Williamson will know. He'll have his engineer screaming at him. Well, not screaming, hopefully, but you know, being very firm with him over the radio, telling him that in front of him is reverse grid pole position. It's a big thing.
As Yellowly has a look up the inside of Fontana, they give each other room, and Yellowly back on the power on the exit. Lovely move from Nick Yellowly to take 6th place from Alex Fontana.
Yeah, Yellowly appears to have a lot of grip. Oh, Fontana has a go back up the inside of Club. Yellowly should have him covered, easy peasy. Yellowly appeared to have a fair amount of grip over Fontana on the inside of Stowe there. His car seemed to deliver well for him, and interestingly, as soon as Fontana got a little bit wide, Yellowly was easily able to get back in the power and drive up the inside of him.
Now Fontana under pressure from Sainz, who's had the hurry up from his team. They've been told Lewis Williamson is coming for you. You need to get moving, son.
Yeah, Fontana struggling now for grip.
So Sainz on the back of Fontana. Fontana laying down some rubber as he reapplies the throttle. There's Harvey with the fastest lap of the race, now leads by 2.4 seconds from Koyas, Regalia third, then Kvyat, and Fontana taking the defensive line already as Sainz has a look around the outside, can't go, switches back the other way.
And this will make Williamson even more desperate to get up to the back gearbox of Sainz to try and pick up the pieces while these two scrap for the reverse grid pole and 7th place.
Now Sainz on Fontana as we get a message that McKee is under investigation for taking his drive-through while the safety car was deployed. Can't do that. Oh, and Sainz has run wide, and that's going to allow Williamson onto the back of him, having a look up, and it's not the ideal line coming into Maggots, but does he make it stick? Oh, he does, and that's lovely from Lewis Williamson.
Beautiful move, and I was just about to say Sainz really needs to be looking to get around Fontana because he's going to be under pressure now from Williamson, and Williamson makes that great move around the outside of Maggots there.
And meanwhile, Venturini's now getting onto the back of this battle as well, so Sainz in his mission to get past Fontana, that slight mistake. That's all you need to give Lewis Williamson. He doesn't need to be told twice. Goes and takes it, and ahead of him now is the man who stands between him and a reverse grid pole. Williamson will be champing at the bit. So now the gap, 2.9 seconds. Harvey, again, fastest lap of the race, 48.743. Koyas dropping back now, 2.9 seconds. And here is the mistake. Talk through that.
Yep, so here we see Sainz getting caught up just a little bit on the way in, and Williams, he just has the pace on the way into Maggots, and easily ahead as he sweeps right.
As Zamparelli, lovely move, gets through Aro Vigno at Stowe, great stuff. And that was for P12.
Yeah, it's incredible when you take momentum like that from a previous corner. What's achievable in the next one? Oh, we have a fight going on again.
Oh, Williamson! And he's off and spinning, and that was contact with Carlos Sainz, the two of them who've been battling all afternoon, and that's a sad way for Williamson's race to end. And I wouldn't like to call that one immediately without seeing another replay, but
it was clumsy from both guys, I think. They just wanted the same piece of track. No one was prepared to give up the inside and met in the middle.
So Williamson, that frustration of battling for that reverse grid pole, ultimately it all comes to naught.
For me, as a first call, I would say when the guy's up the inside. Here we go again, look. Williamson's got a good run out of the kink onto the back straight, move to the right, and I think at this point Sainz should have given him a bit of room.
Well, he's edged him all the way over to the white line. You have to leave a car width. That's the rules. You leave a car width between your car and the other track. Now, there is where Sainz pushed too much.
I would say, the guy can't disappear on the inside, and for me, he needed a bit more room on the inside there.
Agreed wholeheartedly. And that'll hurt for Williamson. Carlos Sainz, a member of the Red Bull program. Williamson, who was himself a member of the Red Bull program until he was dropped midway through a World Series season, is still very bitter about that, and that will hurt for more than just the obvious reasons.
And what we will see is if any damage has been done to Carlos Sainz's car, continuing, see if Venturini can cruise up and have a go at him.
So yellow flags out down the Wellington straight. Jack Harvey doesn't really need to worry about that. His lead is 3.3 seconds over Koyas. 2.1 seconds back from Koyas is Regalia, who himself seems to be sitting pretty and not struggling with the advances of Kvyat. Elenas is 5th, Yellowly 6th, Fontana 7th. Sainz does still sit in 8th, with Venturini is coming for him as Zamparelli has to defend from Vigno. Vigno, of course, championship contender last year, knows what it takes to put together race wins at this level. But Jack Harvey doing a great job today.
As Venturini sets a personal best first sector some 3/10 quicker than Carlos Sainz Jr. So perhaps he's going to be able to cruise up to the back. Carlos Sainz struggling a little bit that time through the first sector, some 6/10 down from the best.
And he's been passed now by Adderley Fong as well. So yeah, damage, definite damage. You see him bumping around, bobbling around. Sainz now dropping out of contention. Passed as well by Zamparelli, who moves up into 10th place. But Jack Harvey will make it a glorious day for British motorsport. Hamilton on pole, Bird wins in GP2, and Harvey takes his first GP3 win here at Silverstone. Wonderful stuff, Jack.
Yeah, fantastic job. I'm really happy for Jack winning in front of the home crowd. Really happy for him.
Corliss couldn't convert pole into the win, but second place, no mean feat for him, and Regalia in third makes it a good day for ART. Kvyat fourth and Elinas fifth. In the reverse grid pole, then Fong and Zamparelli.
Yeah, I mean, he managed to get fairly and quickly off the line, overcame Corliss pretty early on, and then restart or no restart, to be honest, he didn't look challenged, did he? A great job from him. Caught them napping a little bit, the whole field, I think, at the restart, and then just built the lead that was lost all over again after the safety car intervention. So yeah, great job from him.
He really did look in a field of his own today. Brilliant stuff.
Good job from Adderley Fong, taking the status up into the points.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Great race from Adderley Fong. I mean, you've got to be so gutted for Williamson, though. I mean, racing through from 19th up into the points, looking at reverse grid pole, and
yeah, I mean, it's a tough call. These things, these incidents can happen to you, and in a championship like that, in a championship like this one, you know, it's fraught. You've got to make sensible moves, but I don't think he was to blame for that one.
So Harvey takes the win, his first in GP3 and at home as well. Corliss second, Regalia third, Kvyat fourth, then Elinas, Yeloli, Fontana, Venturini, Fong and Zamparelli. Elinas will be delighted with those points, obviously, as Connor Daly fails to score today. The man who is third in the championship, Aro Vigno, fails to score today. Corliss, though, will score big points for second. He's currently fourth in the championship, but that will obviously shift things around today. Niederhauser not scoring either, so it's damage limitation for Elinas. Sainz 13th, ultimately Liechtenstein 14th, then Niederhauser, Webster, Silva, Ericsson, Zonzini, Samin Gomez in 20th. Good job from her today. Ryan Cullen, Connor Daly ultimately P22, Carmen Jorda 23, then McKee 24, and a lot of things being investigated after the race, not least that Sainz and Williamson incident. Just Fuminelli and Kuyala not classified, but you know, great that they are both seemingly okay.
Yeah, neither Sainz or Williamson score points, of course, so any penalty applied in this race won't affect their championship, but this will be interesting to see the offshot of that.
Yeah, very much so, very much so. It did look like he edged him a little bit too aggressively. As you say, where's he supposed to go? Supposed to disappear? No, he can't do that. Can't do that. And the rules are clear. You know, we're talking about it. I've been talking about it in GP2 all season with Jerome. You know, and particularly here at Silverstone, it's not like it's a narrow track. It's a big, wide track. You've got to leave space. You've got to leave space. It's about respect. And when racers leave each other space, everybody gets a great show. It's such a rush because you see these guys on the edge, on the limit, really pushing it to each other, but being respectful.
I think in general the field are to be congratulated with the majority of the racing, which it's brilliant.
Agreed. No greater congratulations than for this man today, Jack Harvey. What a phenomenal job, and it's been a tricky start to the season for him, really. First couple of rounds really didn't go the way he wanted, but what a place to take his first win. What a day for Britain as well here at Silverstone. As I said, Lewis Hamilton on pole, Sam Bird winning GP2, Jack winning this. Mega, isn't it?
Yeah, and the British fans, as ever, in good spirits. They've been great out there today, haven't they?
Great for all the fans who've hung back and watched the race, and so many of them do. You know, it's not cheap to come to Grand Prix these days, and the British fans who are here, come rain or shine, they soak. And GP3 has become a firm favourite over the last 3 years. already 2 GP3 drivers in Formula 1. In Esteban Gutierrez, the first champion, in Valtteri Bottas, the second champion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's you can see by the competitiveness of the racing, it's a great place to prepare yourself for F1 and understanding the nuances.
For Le Mans.
Or for Le Mans. And understanding the nuances of Pirelli tyre, the considerations involved in tyre management. These guys are learning a lot here.
Well, Alex, I've got to say, mate, it's been an absolute, it's been a joy today. I've really, really enjoyed it. Who's been your man of the race today, would you say?
Oh, Jack Harvey's the easy one, isn't he? Blimey. Who would I say?
You can say Jack.
I think I probably will, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
He's storming drive. I mean, it's the easy one, isn't it? It's the easy one when you're out at the front and you've got the laps underneath you, but you still got to get it done, and you've still got to not fall apart under the safety car, and you've still got to deliver the laps when it matters. So
I think the way that he measured the restart, the way that he composed himself during that, the way that he applied that pressure at the end, just pulling out that gap little by little, I think it was a very measured drive, a very impressive run from Jack Harvey. And the guys go into their room, and they will go out on the podium very, very soon. Up to have a little bit of a conversation, but certainly the grid for tomorrow looks interesting. Venturini on pole, Fontana alongside him. It's going to be fascinating to see if Harvey can fight through, fascinating to see if Elinas can fight through from those positions. I think Elinas should be looking quite nice, actually.
Well, given the pace of Harvey today and his potentially favourable tyre situation, I would say he's got a decent shout of putting in a good performance tomorrow.
That is a very good point. A very good point.
More so regalia, in fact, if they're on a similar strategy.
Interesting, interesting. I'll go and ask them that on the podium. I've got to run off and do podium interviews. So as soon as this image, we lose this image and the guys make their way onto the podium, I will depart to the podium. So I will say thank you to you now, chap. Real pleasure, real genuine pleasure. It's been great fun, and we'll speak tomorrow morning. Have a good night, mate.
Thanks a lot.
So here they are, ladies and gentlemen, the second podium of the day, and in third place, from Argentina, Paco Regalia. Third place. In second place, from Estonia, Kevin Korius. Congratulations. And the winner, from Great Britain, Jack Harvey. In his honour, for the second time today, the British National Anthem. Council. Congratulations. The second place driver, Kevin Korius, the trophy is presented to him by Mr. Nick Bunting, the Chief Executive of the Motorsports Association. And the third place driver, Paco Regalia, the trophy is presented by Mr. Robert Jones, the General Secretary of the Motorsports Association. Well done, gentlemen. And now, at your feet is the champagne! And now to interview the drivers on the podium, Will Buxton.
Gentlemen, congratulations. Come down to the front. Congratulations, man. Well done. Let me get through here to the race winner. I'm so sorry. Jack Harvey, what an unbelievable job today. Here in front of your home crowd at Silverstone, first GP3 Series win. Congratulations, well done.
Well, thank you very much.
And tell us about the race, because from the start, that's really where it all came off for you. A brilliant start on the dirty side of the track.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was actually surprised I got past Kevin because I didn't think my start was amazing, but he had a little bit more wheel spin than I did, and yeah, got into the lead into turn one and managed to establish a bit of a gap, which probably didn't need to when the safety car came out, and then had a good restart.
And you did. You tempered that restart incredibly well, and then just pulled out that gap consistently. How good did the car feel underneath you today?
Oh, I think the cars felt awesome all weekend. I mean, even in Valencia, although the results didn't show the pace we had, the car felt pretty good actually. And this weekend we worked even harder. And I guess this is to my team and everybody that I work with to keep the faith, you know.
And what a place to do it, here at home in front of the Silverstone faithful. Congratulations, well done. Kevin, pole position this morning. I know you'll be disappointed not to have the win, but that guy was a bit too quick this afternoon, wasn't he?
Yeah, to be honest, I usually have good starts, but now when it mattered the most, of course, I didn't make the best start. But yeah, then after just I know that Connor had the drive-through, and Jack was just too fast for me.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to see Connor in front of you, I imagine, at the start of the race, given that pretty huge jump start for him. Did you feel a little bit held up on the restart, given that Connor came into the pits, or was, as I said, was it just a bit too much today to take it to Jack?
Yeah, it was a bit too much. I mean, I pushed as much as I could for the first 2 laps, and I think I still lost a few tenths per lap. So, and behind me, I saw also there was a gap. So I just said that, like, today P2 is the best I can make from here.
Well, it's a great result, great points for the championship as well. Congratulations, well done. And thank you, congratulations, a great result for you. Double podium for ART. How did the car feel for you today?
Well, I finished quite happy because the second podium in a row, and I'm really happy because of the result. I need to congratulate the team because we put again two cars in the podium, and I think we were struggling maybe as much as I expected before in the race. But we will see tomorrow, because I'm convinced that we can improve a lot and try to get a lot of points tomorrow morning again.
Absolutely, and it looks like you guys have got some fresh tyres maybe for tomorrow as well. We'll wait to see for that tomorrow. But congratulations, guys, well done, and especially congratulations to Jack. What a day for British motorsport. Lewis Hamilton on pole for Formula 1, Sam Bird winning in GP2. Jack Harvey taking his first GP3 win here at Silverstone. Well done, mate. Congratulations from all of us here at Silverstone, the home of British motorsport. A very warm goodbye.
Watch all 6 Sky Sports channels on your mobile and online.